You're listening to the Hot Point Podcast, a commentary on all the hot points of life, hosted by Opiemi Omojafo.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Hot Point Podcast, brought to you by your host, Opiemi Omojafo. So, what is the hot point for this week? Let me pose it to you in a question. Class of 2020, A-level class of 2020, has the education system failed us? Now, I'm going to be delving into that question, into that statement with my good friend Nassir. We met in sixth form in biology, and our friendship has just grown since then. So, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, it's fine. Hi, everyone. So, my name is Nassir. Like Rebecca said, we went to the same sixth form, met in biology class, and I think the education system has definitely failed us, and we're trying to present today sort of in what way has it directly affected us and affected others that we know. So I'm happy to be here to answer questions.
Yeah. So if you're thinking the audio sounds a bit weird, obviously we're in quarantine lockdown, so I had to do this over a phone call, so please excuse the quality. But let's get straight into it. So I know you have a few points, Nassir. I just made some like random notes of stuff that I thought like I wanted to share on this topic, because obviously it's a very personal topic to both of us. So as you know, Corona messed everything up for a lot of people. I feel like it was a blessing and a curse in disguise, because I didn't have to do my A-level exams because I was failing anyway. But I feel like it just stripped me of so much, and it took me away from so much as well at the same time. I don't know how to explain that. But yeah, where do you want to start with this topic? I feel like we should start with your notes because they're a bit more put together than mine.
I was thinking we should start with results day. Like, what was the way the government had planned around how we were going to receive our results?
Yeah.
What it was based on in the first place, yeah.
So results day, 2020, August. Was it on the 14th or the 13th? I don't really remember.
I think it was 14th.
The 14th. What was going through your mind?
To be fair, I'm the type of person, I try and be optimistic when it comes to everything.
Yeah,
but I think
you
reality was just here. Reality was just here. And it was like, listen, the way, do you remember, because the night before they were like releasing statistics and shit, like saying,
this government is so lastminute.com.
Yeah, 100%. Like 40%. We were like finding out through Twitter, like 40% of our...
Twitter is where we get all our news from.
No, that is true. That is true as well. It's a bit... hyped it up a bit, but it was like, I think the way we were in like a state of limbo from like March.
Yeah.
It happened till results day. Like, we were in a state of limbo. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were like confused at first of how we were going to be graded. And we were finding out along with like the rest of the world, like how it was going to be like announced and everything. So when we heard it was going to be based on predictions, like that was, I think, for the majority of people,
tears.
Yes.
Pain.
We already have an issue, when it comes to like teachers predicting
exactly
on teachers predicting grades. Like, I found I was just scrolling through the internet and I found like a statistic. This is from 2016. So UCL, like the Institute of Education, they found that just 16% of predicted A-level results are correct. So
just 16%.
Yeah, 1 in 6 uni students will achieve the grades they were predicted.
Is that not some fuckery? Like,
100%, that's some fuckery. I'm telling you.
And I know for a fact 16. It's based on teacher bias, discrimination, and just not knowing what they're actually doing.
Exactly.
Because I'm convinced, even more so now than I was before, that teachers are just winging it as they go along. Because 100%. Just like us, though, because it's the Board of Education that's in control of all this stuff. They're just throwing out information that we need to like take in and be like, okay, this is what we're doing now. Nobody knows what to do. And I feel like with our year, we were always the first to do things. And we were the first that's ever gone, like, we had to be the first to go through all this that's happening now. We're the first ones to get our predicted grades in this way. And for a fact, the predicted grades that we had were definitely not accurate. Definitely not.
100%. 100%.
Because I'm the type that gets it together the month before the exams.
You are. Lastminute.com.
Literally, I did that at GCSEs. I would have done it for A levels. Like I wouldn't have got amazing grades, but I wouldn't have got what I got now.
I think you would have gone better.
100%. But because, I still made it.
Yeah, you are what you are now. It's good. But
exactly.
Here's what I also found interesting. Yeah, in 2011, this is like research by the Business and Innovation and Skills.
Yeah.
They found that Black applicants had the lowest predicted grade accuracy, with only 39.1% of predicted grades accurate, while their white counterparts had the highest at 53%.
Sure, I heard about that time ago. I think I heard about that when they told us we're getting predicted grades. And it's just like, but why though? But why?
Because, but you know, like me and you, like I'm not gonna say names, but there were students in the class who they hadn't been in class all year round,
and they got
they got way good grades,
better grades than me. Does that make sense?
Better grades than me, you, and everyone else.
I'm not gonna pretend I was exactly. I'm not gonna pretend I was an A-star student, but I was going for a lot of time. And yeah, fair enough, I didn't come into every class, but I came into enough classes. And after chasing me for a while, I eventually decided to do the mock exam. And I did not study or revise for that. And I still got a decent grade from not studying and revising, just turning up to class whenever I felt like. So imagine if I had put in the work and, made an effort, I would have got such a better grade. But somebody who hasn't turned up did nothing.
It's not just you. It's not
wow.
just you, it's everyone. It's most people. So and then it's as if that wasn't bad enough here. Like you're basing a student's future off of their relationship with their teacher.
Exactly.
I wasn't the most friendly with my teachers, as I know you weren't, and a lot.
Imagine if I was still doing drama at the time. I know for a fact my drama teachers, they did not like me, and I could smell it every time they walked into the room. So imagine if I was still doing drama at the time, they would have taken the piss. So
I think they would have given you even worse than you got.
They would have given me a U. I promise you, they would have given me a U.
Someone, we know a U, an actual U.
Because
so it's just
you can't like everybody, and for somebody to hold your future in their hands. Because I've heard stories about teachers doing things to people, like when it came to our results day, they did certain things to them to stop them from going to medical school, and to stop them from being able to even apply. Like, and I was talking with a friend the other day about this. Like, she was like, teacher bias is real. Like, it's real and it's not okay. Because my good friend told me that her teacher refused to put in her predicted grades in time. So she didn't know what she predicted. So she couldn't apply for medical school. It's just so peak.
It's you know what I think it affected us the most. Like, you were talking about other students, but I think our year, because our results was based entirely on teachers' prediction,
100%.
It made it even worse. It affected us in the worst kind of way.
100%.
But I was going to say that as if that wasn't bad enough, they implemented an algorithm that took into account your postcode.
Yes, I wanted to mention that.
Exactly. As if where you live is an indicator of your academic achievement or potential. I don't understand how where you live.
Foolishness. I'm not going to speak too much on my situation because I feel like I got the grades I deserve because I didn't really put in effort. But other people, I'm not going to mention names, but people that I know, they are destined for greatness. Like, they are some of the smartest people that I've ever met. And because of where they live, or because maybe their teacher wasn't really fond of them, they got stupid predicted grades. Yeah, the predicted grades didn't even make sense for the type of work ethic that person has kept up. And these are people I've known since year 7. This type of work ethic that they've kept and they've improved on, and they've, they've been growing themselves and just becoming more and more smart, and whatever the word may be, their predicted grades were awful. And because of that, they weren't able to go to uni and they had to retake the year.
You see?
Is that not so upsetting?
They wasted their time.
I don't even know the name of our current education. What's the guy? Gavin Williams. I don't concern myself with that failure. I don't concern myself with that failure of a man.
That's what I'm saying. No, that's you see on GMB the other day. Listen, I don't like Piers Morgan.
I don't like to watch it because I get angry. But when I watched that Piers Morgan interview,
it was no, because he was trying.
I was so happy. Because somebody needs to check these people. Somebody actually needs to check these people. And if we're not going to do it, it's up to Piers Morgan.
Exactly. No, but I think, you know what else is the problem? There's people in these positions of power to deal with education. And
they don't care as long as their kids are good.
They haven't been in our shoes.
At all.
They've been to mostly private schools. They've been
exactly. They got their little boys' clubs, so they're going to get in anyway.
Exactly.
And as long as their kids are secure, they don't care.
No, it's different. They have no empathy when it comes to the working class or students
You're
that come
right.
from
And we were talking
socioeconomic backgrounds. Yeah.
They don't. And I was talking about this, I think, the other night about empathy. Like, what is the solution to certain problems that we face in the world? And someone said empathy, and I was like, I get what you're saying, but everybody is born or raised with an understanding of empathy, but you need to choose empathy, and these people are actively choosing not to feel empathy and not to show empathy and not to care, knowing that it's fucking with a lot of people's lives, and they don't care, and they're just there trying to save face, saying things that don't matter, doing things that like are irrelevant, like the whole Boris Johnson electing a minister of mental health. That was just to save face for himself. Like, it's good that he's done that. That's a great thing that he's done. But let's see what they're actually going to do with that, and let's see how that's going to help the whole situation, Boris.
No, it's true. It's true. Like, I think what we're seeing here is like we're getting a clear visual representation of the government. Like they're actively, like in front of our face, trying to maintain like a class disparity between students.
100%.
Like some people we know in particular. I saw people in the summer who lost. They lost offers from Queen Mary, Bristol.
So
and
sad.
by the time they reversed it, because they reversed it the next day. Like they reversed it or a few days later.
They reversed what?
That was too late. It was too late.
Oh yeah, you're right. So many people lost offers, and then a couple of days later, they were like, you know what? We'll review it and
Let's change our minds. Yeah.
But it's too late by then. You've already fucked with them.
Too late by now.
You already messed up their plans. You delayed them a year.
You've delayed them a year, exactly. But you also, those places may have been. I don't know if you saw, but even on like things like TikTok and social media, like students who in private schools or grammar schools who got C's, they were suddenly given B's and A's in their results.
Yeah, did that make sense?
It doesn't make sense. And I got this, like, I did research that in Scotland, students from most of the private areas saw grades drop by 15.2% compared to the grades of students from affluent areas dropping by 6.9%.
That is double.
That's facts, by the way. That's not like
that's double.
You're clearly seeing there's a huge difference
because they live in a different postcode. You don't know those people personally. Like, hearing you talk about these statistics makes me really understand that we are just a statistic to them. We are just numbers and things that they need to check off their list. And I remember getting into an argument with my teacher about this at some point in sixth form. Like, you don't care about me. You don't care about how I'm actually doing. You just need to tick me off your book and say, yeah, I've spoken to her. Yeah, I've checked in with her. So whatever happens now, it's not on me. It's on her. They don't care. And that's why I think it's really valuable when you find the teachers that actually want to see you do good and that are really affected by you not doing well, because those are people that will help you push you further. Like, you can't look to this government, you can't look to the system to do right by you, because they won't.
Yeah, no.
And that's been shown like the past 2 years, and now they're repeating the same thing. They've cancelled exams now, and they're giving them predicted grades. But the only difference,
that's a whole other topic,
100%. But the only difference is it's more fair for them because they still get to do their mocks. We could have still done our mocks, but we didn't.
That's
so it's really unfair.
I just think that this year, like our year, like class, I think it exposed how broken like the education system is in general.
100%.
Like, if you think about it, like if you Rebecca think about it, like all aspects of society, like there's been I would say there's been so much innovation, like let's say in the last like 100 years, if you think. So whether it's like cars, engineering, science, like cooking even, like we still have this like archaic principle here that education is like reading off a chalkboard and regurgitating from a textbook. It's just, okay, the chalkboard is electric now, great, but like standardized testing doesn't work for everyone across the board. You're using a one size fits all
Honestly.
for every student that walks in through the door.
Literally, standardized testing that we do in primary school, they make a trajectory for the rest of our education journey.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Does that make sense? I know for a fact I was way off that trajectory. Not because I'm not smart, not because I'm not capable. I am definitely capable,
Yeah,
but it's external factors like mental health. Actually, that's the only external factor for me. But I know there's other external factors like money
there's a lot of other
problems,
external factors.
where you
There's a lot of
live, having like, do you have the means to travel to, you know, just there's
Yeah.
different factors that affect if you can meet that trajectory. And sometimes the trajectory may be based off a fluke. Maybe that one exam that kid was just able to ace so well, and now you've done a whole trajectory for the rest of their education journey.
Exactly. No, but if you like, also if I was reading this, it was saying that this is from 2012, by the way, 2012. So that's almost 10
They've
years
been fucking up since 2012.
2012. Listen to what it said. Showing the dropout rates for first years from universities.
Oh, I think I read about that.
15%. Yeah, 15% to 16% for first years, and it's actually 19% for first year male students. And I know 60%. You'll think, oh, that's not a lot, but it's actually 7,000.
That's a lot. That's a lot. That's closer to 100%. And you know what? I really do think it's because of like mental health and not being properly prepared for life. Because in schools they don't really teach you how to be a well-rounded adult, a well-rounded person. They teach you numbers, facts, statistics, tick off their checklist of what the education board said this is what you need to teach them. So I think the reason for that statistic is because we weren't taught to be well-rounded adults, you know. And I've read a statistic that 60% of children under 18 that have been referred to a mental health specialist have not received any treatment. That's appalling. So not only are we not being given the treatment that we need, it's affecting us to the point that as we grow up and develop as adults, we don't know how to deal with our mental health issues or deal with our mental state. We don't have crazy mental health issues, but just subtle things. We're not like well versed in how to deal with that. So it starts to snowball and grow and build to the point when we get to university, a place where it's a lot of high pressure and you're on your own and you have to be responsible and keep it together by yourself. People are not able to cope and they end up dropping out because they weren't informed. You know what? You don't have to struggle by yourself. You can go speak to someone, you know?
Yeah. No, but it's not just people from like low socioeconomic backgrounds. You have like students from private schools who they've been spoon fed, or students from more affluent areas who have gone into uni by whatever means they can. But because they've been the student from the low socioeconomic background has been deprived of that place, and they have the capability of being there. The rich one is just like confused. They're like, so no one's gonna help me get through this. So,
exactly.
I may as well drop out. Do you get it?
Yeah, and you know what? I had a story about that recently as well. I just be hearing so many things. Of a student. Again, I'm not gonna name names. I'm not gonna call people out. A student who they were like from a higher class background, and obviously this guy has people cooking for him, cleaning for him on a regular. He brought his chef with him to uni.
Uni wife, yeah.
No, like he brought his own chef with him to uni, not uni wife. This guy's rich.
You said he brought his own chef to
uni. And obviously uni started in September. It's now what? February. This guy's struggling. This guy is struggling because he's not used to all this. Like, I really have to do this by myself. Like, yeah, you have your chef with you, but it's not enough.
I have a club that he brought his own chef to uni.
Yes.
Yes. Human being back to uni with him.
Yes. I'm like,
I know people living off pot noodles like in university, like, and this guy and rice like they have like, and this guy's brought his own. Like, it's funny, man. It's funny.
I get. What were we gonna say? Sorry.
I was actually gonna say like it's the makeup of education. Like, quality designed for the average student with good academic skills. It might not suit all students, and that results in dropouts.
Education is not for everybody as well. Like, so I just wanted to say that.
But even if I take it like personally, like listen, like my cousin, he didn't get the best GCSE results. And like he didn't do the best. But this guy, like, we're at the age of 19 now. He's got his own business.
See, like, stuff like that.
Mate, like, he can fix anything. Like, I can give you a broken laptop, TV, like an iPad, anything. I've never been to like a phone repair like shop. Like, I always go to him. And this guy is so smart and so
See, life skills that they don't teach us in school.
It's more valuable than
but they don't tell you where I can go learn those things, at least.
But they're putting a cap on how much you can achieve.
Exactly.
In terms of
foolishness. That's what it is. Foolishness.
Foolishness. I mean, like I've got loads of family members here that they didn't go on to university. And I was thinking to my aunt like a while back. I was thinking to her, this was me like pre-sixth form. I was like, why didn't you go to university? Why didn't you finish university? And she was like, the concept of sitting down on a desk and just like doing a test or like regurgitating from a textbook or just writing out notes, it doesn't do anything for me.
Honestly, Nassir, I thought the exact same way. Anyway, we need to talk about that afterwards. But honestly, education is not for everybody. And I feel like I'm one of them people. And in my family, education is everything. But I'm blessed to have parents that are not. You must go to school. Don't disgrace me. So they're a bit more understanding on that. But education is not for everybody. And that brings me into like the next thing I want to talk about. The creative arts. We don't take that seriously enough in this country. I feel like compared to some other countries, yes, it's more explored here. There are schools for that here, but it's not respected as much as it should be. It should be respected on the same level as maths and English, because you have some great artists out here that have set the way for the new generation. They've set pace, they've set the blueprint. So we need to respect the arts at the same level. And all the students that did arts for A levels, they were done so dirty. It's actually embarrassing how dirty they were done, because how were they supposed to do their coursework? Like digital students, how were they supposed to do that? Some people don't have the means to do that at home, and it's not until recently now that they started giving out laptops and stuff for people, that they started allowing people to access Photoshop from home. So back when we were first experiencing this lockdown, you're from home, you're working and trying to send in any last bits of work to up your grade. How, like, I got talking to so many friends that were doing art subjects. They were struggling because how are they meant to draw in their I don't know the words, sorry, I don't do arts, but how are they meant to do their pieces in their portfolios and stuff, and they're like,
you don't even have the stuff. Like,
exactly, how do they send that in when there's no contact? Like,
doesn't make sense.
It was so tricky for them. And on top of that, there was people beefing with their teachers, so that definitely reflected in the grades that they got. Like, there was just a lot going on. I feel like
I was going to say, if you look at the cost of university fees, like, listen, let's be honest here. Like, tracking back and forth to uni on a regular isn't worth 9K. But sitting down with YouTube lessons, like with no guidance from your professors, is definitely not worth.
Every single person I've spoken to, their lectures is pre-recorded. Apart from my sister, because she's doing her masters. But every single uni student, all my friends, they said that lectures are pre-recorded. They'll be watching their lecture at 1 a.m. in the morning. Why are they paying 9K for that? And on top of that, they're paying rent when they're forced to stay in London or forced to stay at home. And then on top of that, they have to pay for food and all of that. And then the ones that are there, they're by themselves, they're alone. If they're not breaking lockdown, they're by themselves, they're alone with their mental health. Like, come on now, at least give them their money back.
Like a few months ago, they found him dead in his room in his uni. No one knew that he was dead for like 2 days.
And see, do
you see what's like,
things like that?
It's not sustainable.
It's not at all. It's not conducive. I don't know if that's the right word to use, but it's not. Every time I say that word conducive, I think of what's his name? Chris Eubank. It's not conducive to good conversation. It's funny.
That's what I'm saying.
But anyway,
it doesn't make sense.
It's so heartbreaking, because I know that I'm well experienced with mental health, like, and I know how that it eats away at you. And being in this situation where you literally cannot control a single thing is too much. It's too much. And for them not to find him 2 days later, bruh, that's
I
mad.
think it was 2 days later they found him, or a day later. Like they didn't. That's people. Like we're not. No one's connected when it comes to what's going on in particular education. Like
people are just selfish. Like that's what I'm coming to understand. The older I get, people are selfish, and they choose to not be informed. They choose to not be empathetic. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And it's really upsetting because it's just people just don't care. And like, how can you not care? How could you not want to help?
Okay, you know what you were saying before as well about education is not for you, it's not for everyone. I think that the makeup of education at this very point that we live in makes it not for everyone. If we didn't use standardized testing and regurgitate from
100%.
According to everyone, maybe we'll have more graduates or more people. They're always complaining about we don't have enough nurses and doctors in the UK. You're making it so that people get into medical school and get into law and get into like these STEM subjects that people aren't able to at this point. And if you think about it, you're 16, 17, and you're having to make a decision on a career for the rest of your life.
I don't think anybody knows what they want to do at 16, 17. No one knows, I'm convinced.
No one knows.
And people that say they did know and they're still doing the same career, it's because you don't want, you're too scared to do anything else. I'm convinced you can't do anything else because you don't know anything else.
You do. I think they have a midlife crisis.
Yeah.
Their life, yeah.
I think it's absurd. I honestly think it's crazy.
100%.
Like, the same way we're out here, we need more art schools. That's what I'm saying. We need more schools like UAL. We need more schools and we need secondary schools like that. We need primary schools like that. I know we have some, but we don't have enough. And they need to be like the school I'm in right now. It's a fashion school and it's funded by the government, which I think is amazing. But it's only one school. It's a college/university, and there's only one school like that. Well, there's not one school. There's like maybe 4 or 5 that I know of in the UK, and they're so hard to get into. The fact that I got into this school is a flipping miracle. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, we need more.
Remember when also they were saying like because obviously everyone's pissed when it comes to like how grades were going to be decided, and they were really university has to be lenient this year. But listen,
lenient.
Students were living their office left, right,
lenient.
Going through clearing. Yes, they were not lenient. I'm sorry,
lenient.
Like this is from personal experience. Yeah, hearing like people's real stories, not like what do you call it, like article or whatever. People were losing. They're losing office.
And who said this? That they're going to be lenient?
I can't remember. It was like Boris or
somebody that went to private school talking about universities being lenient.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense.
They just talk and don't like think about what comes out their mouth. Just shit. Just point at their mouth. I'm just going to take this time to remind or just let you know that we have 2 minutes left.
Okay.
Only like to do 30-minute podcasts, so keep it nice and short so you guys don't get bored.
Exactly.
But any last?
If you want it to be longer, subscribe.
If you want a part 2 to this conversation, just make me aware of that somehow. Comment below. Say part 2, whatever. But is there anything else you want to say on this topic? This very emotional topic. Like, how did it personally affect you?
For me, listen, I'm sort of similar to you as well in the sense that if I know I have like a period of time, I will extend it in terms of how intense I make my study. So I think I'm pretty academic, like when it comes to exams. Like ever since I was a kid, I think. But I'm aware that doesn't work for everyone. I'm aware of that. And when it came to results, like I was doing. At the start of the year, I didn't do too well in my mocks because no one really pays attention at the start of the year.
I haven't taken one mock seriously in my life. Never in my life.
When it came to January, I went up 2 grades from the grade I was in the start. So they were like, I remember being a parents' evening and they were like, we really could see you achieving like A's and B's. And then I opened my results. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it doesn't like they say one thing, but I don't believe it. Like, it didn't match up with what they were saying. Like,
all right, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to cut you off because we've got 30 seconds left. But we can continue the conversation after. So I just want to say to all my peeps listening, thank you for listening, guys. This topic was very close to like both our hearts. It affected both of us in like different ways. I don't think we'll ever be the same from experiencing this thing, but thank you for listening. Share your thoughts below, comment, and tune in for the next installment of the Hot Point podcast. Bye. You want to say bye?
Bye.
You're listening to the Hot Point podcast, a commentary on all the hot points of life, hosted by Opiemi Mujafo.